Hey everybody, it's Jenny B from jennibstudios. That's Jenny with an I. Saying goodbye to 2021. If you've been following me on Instagram, you'll know that Christmas this year was quite a sad occasion. So I headed off to the central coast of New South Wales, spent some time with some family and some friends. And I tapped Santa on the shoulder and said, "Hey big guy, can I have some more pastels?" Lucky for me, I have a great Santa, and I found these Art Spectrum Extra Soft Landscape Pack. Now, I'm not sponsored by Art Spectrum, but I thought, what better way to cheer myself up than let's do a painting and share it with all of you. One thing I will note is that Art Spectrum actually puts in a colour chart, which is wonderful and has a little bit of detail about the pastels themselves. I thought it was a great idea. Now I can just put it in my folder. I'm just doing a very loose sketch here we're using a pastel pencil. And I won't use any more pastel pencil till the very end of the painting, but this is a very loose sketch, and if you've seen my work previously, you'll know that I do a lot of drawing as I paint. So I only need to have a rough idea of placement at this stage. Now my intention was to only use the Art Spectrum set, but I did pick up a couple of other sticks of pastel while I was at the store, and I'll be using those at the end. In the meantime, I'm laying down with the sticks. Their shape allows me to lay in really big bold strokes, which was wonderful. Now I've never used these pastels before. I've used other product from Art Spectrum, but I haven't used these big oblong pastels before, and I gotta tell you, got a bit of a crush on them. I love the way that the pigment just laid on the paper. It was so easy, and I was probably a little bit hard on them when I first started. Getting rid of all that tension from 2021, what can I tell you? Coming back now with the ultramarine blue in the kit, and just laying down some definition lines for the clouds. Literally just had to touch the paper. Now this paper isn't my usual pastel mat. This is actually a My Tennis Touch paper. Again, not sponsored. Why doesn't anybody sponsor me? I'm telling you, people, I need to be sponsored here. So I'm just laying that down now. The My Tennis Touch is a sanded paper, and I do like to use that when I'm doing landscapes. But I think it'll be really, really interesting to give these pastels a whirl on some pastel matte paper. Generally, when I'm going down to soften layers, because I work with harder soft pastels, if that makes sense, I get out my little cotton stick. But I found with these pastels, it was just so easy just to touch them, and it was all done, making the job so much easier. Loved it. Here, as always, I'm working towards the ugly stage of the painting. I find personally it's less intimidating to work towards the ugly stage of a painting than it is to work towards the final stage of the painting. This gives me an option to make adjustments as I go through, by far less mental frustration. And with the pastels, if you've only got a limited range of pastels, learning to mix the colours, it's so much easier to do and to learn that process when you're more worried about the ugly stage than you are the finishing stage. And the finishing stage, that's a long way away. So let's concentrate on the race before we concentrate on winning it. So I'm laying down all in really big bold strokes, concentrating more on tone and colour and doing my adjustments as I go through. If I see a colour in one spot and I can see it in another spot, then just pop it in. I'm making adjustments to this corner. You will also note that there is a certain band running through here, and I won't touch that until the next stage, and that's to keep that particular area quite clean. That's where my lightest lights are going to go. Again, just softening. In the earlier stages, I do tend to soften all over because I'm also mixing the pigment as I go. So sometimes you'll see me doing side strokes, sometimes you'll see me doing circles, and that's just how I mix the pigment into each other and onto the paper. Here I'm laying down some of the lighter tones. So again, not my brightest brights, not until the end. Guys, if you'd like to speed this painting up or you would like to slow it down, if you go to the top right hand corner of your device, there's 3 little dots there. If you click on those, you can actually adjust the playback speed. So here again, just putting in what I call light markers, and that just helps my mind actually focus on the fact that this is where you've got to concentrate light in. It also allows you to adjust for your darker tone. One of the wonderful things about pastel is you can still come in and adjust your tones without getting your painting muddy. These sticks actually allow not only for those big bold strokes but for tiny details. And I'm not really putting in details at this stage, I'm just putting in little marker points. So back in, rubbing in some of that big bold colour. Guys, if you're enjoying this video, I do ask for your support, so let's tell YouTube that I'm worth having on air by pressing that thumbs up button and subscribing. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment box below. I'd love to hear from you. If there's anything more you'd like to see, please let me know. I'm more than happy to accommodate whenever possible. Also, if you'd like to see more seascapes and landscape paintings, then you know what to do. You can see the painting's now starting to take shape. So I'm putting on a lighter blue, which is going on that background, which will be an area of reflection for the light that reflects onto that deeper ocean water. In the final stages of the painting, I'll come through with my navy blue pencil and I'll refine the detail then. But for now, this ain't the place for detail. This is the place literally for painting, which is kind of cool. I put my gloves on now for no other purpose than the fact that while I was out on the beach, I got a bit sunburnt. So when I stopped for lunch after starting this painting, my hands were getting a bit itchy, so I popped on my gloves. as we progress into the second stage, you'll notice that I'm not actually smoothing down all the layers. I'm actually, in certain areas, I'm just smoothing down one side over another, and there's less of that softening as we move forward. I'm also stroking in the colour in the direction of the waves, same as I do when I do a pet portrait. I want to follow that motion, and it's the easiest way to do it is to follow the motion of the water. So I know, for instance, on that left hand side there's a build-up of the water. Coming in with my darker Rembrandt, which is a darker emerald colour. See the difference when I mixed it there in the lighter area versus the darker area. There was so much green in these waves that I decided to call the painting Emerald Wave. Just by lightly moving my pastel this way, I can still get that splash effect of the waves. Now, if anyone is interested in purchasing this painting, it will be available on my website, which is jennibstudios.com. Every painting I do actually goes out with a certificate of authenticity, and it's in a handmade package. I don't actually frame my paintings when I sell them. I just find that people like to frame their own. But you know, if you ever want it framed, you can let me know. Just warming up some of those shadow areas with a bit of the ultramarine blue, and cooling down some of those lighter areas. I want to sing out and say thank you so much to all of those who sent me condolences on Instagram. It was truly truly appreciate it. I can't tell you what it meant to me. It's always really sad when we lose a pet. We lose someone we love, doesn't matter what form they come in. And just reminds me there's so many beautiful, wonderful people out there. Right, well, back to the painting, you can actually start to get the feel of those waves moving. Adjusting some tone here. Now this is a Sennelier pastel that I'm using here, very crumbly. It's beautiful to paint with. When you get up to the extra soft type of pastels, yeah, honestly, it's just like painting with clouds. It's beautiful. They only need the lightest touch. This is where I feel the painting actually starts to take on a life of its own. Yeah, I've built all that foundation. I know where we're going now. I have the roadmap. The keys are in the car. And away we go. All we got to do now is just bring her home. The beach that I painted, this one is based on, it's quite a rough beach, so not really a swimmer's beach, which was great for us artists, not so great for the swimmers, but the wonderful thing about it is all the different colours that you see while you're there. One of the locals said to me, you can tell straight away which beach that's from, and they were right. So again, if you have any questions or you'd like to see me paint something, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, give it a thumbs up. That just helps with the algorithm for YouTube. But it's also nice for me to know that you're out there supporting me, and it's worth me taking the time to make these tutorials for you. You can see now why I called it Emerald Waves, with all that beautiful rich green throughout the water. It's a real jewel. just by using the stick in a different method, you can see that I get the very, very tiny highlights and that splash of the waves. There is a lot of foam to deal with, and you know it's easy to sort of make a mess of it. So there we have it, guys. Emerald Wave all completed now, going into its final stages. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. I really look forward to hearing from you all, and if you're interested in the painting, www.jennibstudios.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.